Hi, everybody. It is Thursday night, and we are so excited about this session of unlocking your millionaire mindset. And if you've been with us through the whole series, or you've just recently joined us, or you might even be somebody who's taking a look at Zango, we really have a mission statement that we all live by, which is no one left behind. And as I talk to people who are looking for not just shortcuts to better health, but shortcuts to peace of mind with their finances, we can almost guarantee your success if you plug in and become a scholar and develop your skills. Because your income, quite honestly, is directly proportionate to the level of your skill. So if you're on this call or you're listening to a replay, it's because you still believe that you can unlock that millionaire gene within you and have that millionaire mindset and live the life that others just dream about. So in this session, Professor Donna Mastriangelo, is going to be covering something that, quite honestly, I didn't even know the term existed before, the superconscious mind. So we all know about the conscious mind. We know about the subconscious mind that controls everything that we do. But the superconscious mind is what's going to unlock your millionaire mindset. Now, for those of you who have not met my good friend Donna before, she resides in Chile, Philly. We just got back yesterday from Philadelphia. And lifelong learner. She graduated St. Joseph's University. And what's amazing, she recently was accepted to the University of Pennsylvania on a scholarship. And only 3 people were chosen out of goodness knows how many. Can you imagine how smart this lady is? I had to go to Temple. I didn't even try to get into Penn. But the point is that she has been an entrepreneur all her life, had a successful business that she actually sold and got paid, unlike us who sold our businesses and didn't get paid. And if you know our story, you know all about that. But Donna is passionate about not just her own personal growth, but she has a gift of being able to communicate the essence of that to all of us who are blessed to be on these calls. So Donna, Professor Donna, as Dr. Santry calls you, just a big thank you from all of us, because I know the amount of work is involved to prepare for these sessions. But I can tell you this, even though, I had tremendous struggle for 3 or 4 years in this profession, just banging my head against the wall, and became a student of personal and professional development. What I'm learning throughout these sessions that we've been doing now, gosh, it's almost probably about 20 months now, is priceless. I only wish I had this 10 or 15 years ago, or even as a teenager. So if you've missed our previous sessions and you've just joined our Zango family, not to worry, because everything is archived, every single session that we've done. So tonight we are going to go over your superconscious mind. And I know Donna's going to mention this, but I really hope you have a pen and paper in hand. In fact, what I usually recommend to people is that they keep a separate spiral notebook. I call it my pearls of wisdom. And take good notes. And of course, you need to revisit and re-listen, because there's nothing better to learn by doing, but also by repetition. And Brian Tracy, and I'm sure Donna's going to mention, he's coined a phrase, think it and ink it. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to my good friend, Professor Donna.
Thank you, Sandy. That's a very kind introduction. Really appreciate it. I hope I live up to it. Well, I know I'll live up to it, but okay. So Brian started this session with, as Sandy just said, when you think it, ink it. Keep an action plan list, and it could be a spiral notebook or something permanent that you're not going to lose all the papers. When you think of a goal, write it down with a deadline date. Brian emphasizes that as soon as you think of a goal, you should make a note of it. So he goes on to explain the idea of the superconscious mind. And from ancient times, there's been talk of human minds being being part of a greater mind called the universal subconscious mind, or the collective unconscious, the superconscious. Brian refers to it as the superconscious mind. We all have one that we constantly use, often in a haphazard ways, unfortunately. It's the source of such things as inspiration, motivation, enthusiasm, excitement, intuition, creativity, and actually all the new ideas that come into the world. Now, the difference between superior people and average people is that superior people use their superconscious mind more often. Average people use it sporadically, occasionally thinking of an interesting idea, but then they never act on it. Superior people use the superconscious mind deliberately and more often. The superconscious mind is hidden within ourselves. It's in your heart. And when you learn to tap into it, you'll be able to accomplish extraordinary things. Imagine if you bought a house and the owner said, "There's a computer in the garage and we can't take it with us. But it's a special computer and it has all the wisdom of the universe in it. All you have to do is type in your question, and all the wisdom of the universe will go to work to answer your question or help you achieve your goal." If you had such a computer, would you use it on a regular basis? If you wanted to increase your income, improve your health, change your relationships or your business, would you use it? Well, this is how to achieve your goals, purpose in life, and your mission at the highest possible level. This is the key. The following are the characteristics of a superconscious mind. It has access to all data stored in your subconscious mind. That means everything that you have ever learned, read, experienced in your lifetime has been stored away. And when your superconscious mind is functioning, it can go back into this vast treasure trove of information. Sometimes that could be from something you read or a movie you saw or a conversation you had decades ago, and it'll just pop out when you're working with your superconscious mind to solve a problem or achieve a goal. It can discriminate between valid and invalid data. It can only bring you valid data. You may have heard something or learned something that was incorrect, but when your superconscious mind is working, it will only bring forth valid data, which is why superconscious ideas is always correct, because it's based on valid data. It has access to data outside your experience too. It can tap into the universal mind, and all data that is in the universe is available to you when you tune into it. The way it works, sometimes you'll have an idea, and Brian could be talking about A, and you'll have an idea about B. And it's been proven many times that when two people get together, a third mind is formed. The third mind is almost like ether hanging in the air, and you can tap into this, just like cloud computing, and you have access to it, which is why you'll have an idea, something that when he's talking about something totally different. It's like a lightning bolt in the cartoons, like an incredible loud voice in the silence. So you have to write it down. If you think it, ink it. Everyone has at least 4 ideas per year, any one of which could make him or her a millionaire. So if you have a goal to become a millionaire, remember that your superconscious mind is trying to get ideas to fulfill whatever it is you want. What is interesting is that it's neutral as well. If you think of negative, angry thoughts, you'll think of negative, angry ways to live, and you'll have angry, negative experiences as well. Mostly, though, if you're clear about what you want, it'll bring your ideas to achieve it. Many times, you'll have an idea or a product or service, and you think, why doesn't somebody do that? Why isn't it available? Why doesn't somebody combine music with a little gadget so you can listen to music through earphones? The only difference between you and them is that someone took action on his or her idea. then a month or a year later, somebody will come out with that gadget you thought of. And you'll say, oh, yeah, I thought about that a year ago. One of the hardest things to do is to trust your own ideas. It's amazing how many people have created astonishing lives with, excuse me, with an idea that's completely outside anything they've ever done before. So listen to your superconscious mind because the ideas are coming. Carry a little recorder with you or a notebook to write the ideas down. Very often the rule is what you're seeking for is seeking for you. What you want wants you. It also functions 24 hours a day. Once you've programmed a goal, and the more detailed you write out the goal, the more the subconscious mind or superconscious mind can get its powers around it. If you're very specific about how you want to learn and when you want to earn it, even if you're specific about what you'll do with the money, like writing down 25 things you would do if you were financially independent, it really activates the superconscious mind because all the emotion is attached to it. If you have a thought without an emotion, it has no impact. If you have an emotion without a thought, it has no direction. But if you have a thought combined with the emotion, it's like a powerful bullet, and it activates all your mental powers. Once you program the goal in by writing it down, it goes to work 24 hours a day. It's sort of like planting a seed, and Brian gave us the example of if you plant grass seed, it sprouts in a day or two. If you plant a bamboo tree, you have to water it and fertilize it for 4 or 5 years. But in the 5th year, it grows 60 feet. It explodes into the air, and sometimes it's the same with a career or a goal. Brian's example is the author of Harry Potter. What's her name? J.K. Rowling. She wrote the books for her children, and now she's the first billionaire author in the world. And she actually wrote these books when she was on welfare. Another example he gave us was George Bernard Shaw. He didn't sell his first piece until he was 42, but by the time he was 55, he was considered the great man of English letters. But they both kept fertilizing their seeds. Some seeds take a little longer than others to grow. So your superconscious mind is it's automatically and continuously solves every problem on the way to achieving your goal. The basic rule you need to understand in order for you to achieve something greater than you've ever learned before is you need to learn some lessons. You have to be schooled, and usually it's in the school of hard knocks. You have to make mistakes, temporary failures, disappointments, and setbacks. This is the price you pay. And one of Brian's favorite quotes is, when God wants to send you a gift, he wraps it up in a problem. What superior people do is they look for the lesson in every problem they have. Often the solution comes from the superconscious mind. That's how everything is solved. Another example he gave us was Thomas Edison had 11,300 experiments before he found a bulb that would stay lit. All along the way, through the mistakes, the trials, the errors, they solved each problem one step at a time. Excuse me, a reporter asked Thomas Edison why he was wasting so much time, because by then he had failed 5,000 times, and Edison said, "Young man, you don't understand how the world works. I have not failed at all. I have successfully identified 5,000 ways in which the bulb will not work, and that puts me closer to finding a way that it will work, and I will find that way. When I decide to achieve a goal or invent something, as far as I'm concerned, all I have to do is remove the ways that don't work, and all that is left is the way that will." So your superconscious mind is also capable of goal-oriented motivation. That is important to understand, that it can't work unless it has a specific goal. It's kind of like a heat-seeking missile. It has to have a target. When you set off a missile, it's already aimed at a target, and when you set off your own missile, it will find a target anywhere in the world and under any circumstances. It will set off to your goal and bring it to you in the most remarkable ways. And then he tells a story about a farmer in the Mississippi area. They were expecting floods, and when they found out the floods were coming, they wanted all the farmers to evacuate and get to higher ground. One farmer said he wasn't leaving. God will take care of me. God gave me this land, and he'll take care of me. The next day, the water was higher. He got to the second floor, and they went out in a boat to try to rescue him, but he still wouldn't leave. Next day, more floods. They sent out a helicopter. The farmer was on his roof, but he still wouldn't leave. Sure enough, more floods, and he was washed away. He was holding on to a tree at the time, and he started praying to God, why haven't you taken care of me? And the heavens opened up, and God said, I sent you a jeep, a boat, a helicopter. What more could I do? And the point of the story, Brian explains, is that the solution to your problem will come to you in strange ways. You have to be open to it. Your superconscious mind releases ideas and energies for goal attainment. As a matter of fact, it's a source of free energy. And I didn't know this, but Nikola Tesla, he's considered the greatest electrical engineer. He was able to extract energy out of the air. He lit his entire showroom with no electricity, and it was proven that he could actually do this, and no one has ever been able to duplicate what he did. The reason he's not that well known is that he was very disorganized, whereas Thomas Edison, who actually hired Tesla, was an extremely good businessman. Free energy comes as an example when you're really excited about something, when you're maybe in a deep sleep and you get an emergency phone call from someone that needs help. You wake up with an abundant amount of energy, possibly stay up the rest of the night and the entire next day. That's free energy. When you have a goal, what happens is you tap into the superconscious mind, and the energy comes from the motivation and the excitement of the goal. You must have specific goals to tap into the source of free energy. It also responds to clear, authoritative commands, positive affirmations. When you say, I earn this amount, I weigh this much, the superconscious mind accepts it as a command and it goes to work. It must be emotionalized. The more excited you are about a goal, the faster the superconscious mind goes into account. It also responds to decisiveness. When you make a decision, nature moves too. All manner of things begin to happen that would not have happened in the absence of the decision. So you make a decision or you walk away, and it has a domino effect. As soon as you make a very clear decision, make a goal, write it down, and it's very powerful. Make the decision and then take the first step. You can make all the decisions in the world, but they're meaningless without taking the first step. It triggers everything. You'll get feedback, which will enable you to make course directions changes if necessary. Nothing great in life happens without commitment. So once you make a decision, put your whole heart into making the decision come true. Your superconscious mind also grows in capability as it's used and believed in. The more you trust it, the more trust you have in your superconscious mind, the faster it works for you. The more calm you have and confidence that something will show up, something will be fine, and something will happen. It operates best with an attitude of confident expectancy. The more confidence you have, the more it will work for you. When you confidently expect your goals will be reached, your problem will be solved. The more it happens, the more you believe it, and the more you believe it, the faster it works. So stay focused on the end results that you're looking for. It also operates best under two other conditions. Well, two conditions. When you're concentrating 100% on the problem, when you're totally focused on the problem, suddenly ideas pop out. The very first thing you do when you have a problem is to write it down and write down every detail of the problem. When you have a goal, you write down everything you can think of to help you achieve a goal. The more you write, something will pop out of the memory, and that's the key to make it work. It also works when you're concentrating 0% on it, when your mind is busy elsewhere. If you haven't been able to solve a problem by concentrating on it, just walk away. And scientists do this all the time. There's 4 stages in scientific research. It's itemization, concentration, relaxation. That's when they don't think about it at all, and they let it brew while you're doing something else. At a certain point, the idea comes to you on how to solve this particular part of the problem. They call this cerebration, not celebration, but cerebration. It means to use your mind or think. And then finally, realization. It brings exactly the solution you require at exactly the right time. Brian tells a story of going into a tense business meeting. He wasn't looking forward to it. He used the quick affirmation technique to keep saying to himself, this is going to be a good meeting. Tension will be eliminated. And he walked into the meeting, and as soon as he went through the door, the answer popped into his mind. And all he did was explain it. It solved the problem immediately, and everybody was calmed down. But you have to act immediately. If you write down a goal and the first thing you think of is to phone somebody to discuss it, do it immediately, because your subconscious mind is time sensitive, and sometimes it's only for a few minutes to act immediately. Trust your instincts. It will bring you the experiences you need to be successful. It'll bring you the lessons you need to be successful. It'll bring you the experience, and we learn 10 times more through failure lessons than we do through success lessons. If you go through a failure lesson, take a piece of paper, write at the top of the page, what have I learned from this experience? And make a list of what you've learned. If you don't write it down, you have a tendency to repeat the same problem. When you write it down, it's programmed in, and you'll be surprised how much you have learned. Brian has something he calls an investment list, and it's what to do to make a good investment or avoid a bad investment. Learning from experience makes it possible that you'll succeed greatly later on. So when you do make a mistake, you ask yourself, I wonder where the lesson is. What was I meant to do, or what was I meant to learn? And your subconscious mind is working 24 hours a day to bring your goals to you. A good technique that he described is use the end of the movie technique. So he tells about going to an adventure movie and being there early, and he ends up watching the end before he watched the whole movie. And then when you do watch the whole movie from the beginning, you see it with greater clarity because all the danger and the problems were solved at the end. So you're not tense. You can do this with your own movie. Paint a picture of where you want to live, money in the bank, beautiful family, doing work that you enjoy. So you're playing the end first. So the drama and the setbacks won't be as tense because you've seen the end of the movie, so you're more confident that it will work out. You can just relax because you wrote the ending. So your superconscious mind, it makes all your words and your actions and their effects fit a pattern consistent with your self-concept of dominant goals. That means you can be in a conversation and you'll have this impulse to say something, and when you say it, it will be exactly the right thing. Sometimes when Brian gives these seminars, he goes off topic. He thinks that is because someone in the audience needs to hear something or an example of something he wants to include. And it's not unusual that someone will tell him later, that is exactly what I needed to hear. It changed my life. Sometimes you have an impulse to say something, but your mind tells you not to. And it usually turns out wise that you didn't say it. You really have to trust your intuition. Brian tells a story about Earl Nightingale, one of the most notable motivational speakers of all time. And Earl was working on a low-end job in Arizona when he had an instinct to go into a bookstore. He found a used copy. It wasn't even a good, fresh copy of Think and Grow Rich. And it changed his life. He set a goal of becoming a radio personality, and then he talked to one station into giving him a job. He became one of the most well-known radio talents in history, just following his instincts. And all that success was because he had an impulse to pick up the book, and it changed his life. So Brian ended there, and I'm going to thank everybody. I fear, Dr. Sandra, you'd like that last part about Think and Go Rich. Sandy, I'm going to turn it back over to you.
Thank you, Donna. What an amazing job that you've done. And I hope that you are thinking, what have you learned? What are you learning from your personal experiences, your personal frustrations? Because I remember so clearly when I was an utter failure in this profession, just saying to myself, how am I going to learn, how to talk to people? How am I going to learn how to become a success? And when you realize that if you're frustrated, it's because you're doing things. So my suggestion would be, like Donna and Brian Tracy saying, get a piece of paper out. And at the end of each day, just jot down in that spiral notebook, what did you experience that day that you were frustrated and you learned something from that experience? Where are you weak? What skills are you weak in? Are you weak in initiating a conversation? Do you have your 2 to 3 minute elevator speech rehearsed and have several of them? Are you having difficulty doing three-way calls? Do you know how to edify your support partners? Do you know how to confirm that three-way call so people know and value your time just like you value their time? You have to have a little bit of almost like an attitude that you got a gift. We're offering people a true gift for optimal wellness tied to financial peace of mind. So write down daily, almost like a journal, and learn from your experiences, but at the same time, write down what you need to improve upon. And I really hope these lessons, and sometimes you have to listen to these more than once. So there's really, no crystal ball. And I can tell you this. Zango, with the new comp plan, even though we broke every record with the pre-existing comp plan, with this new compensation plan that does not require any structure, it's volume-based. And if you don't know what that means, you should know. So make sure you go to Zango, the back office of Zango University, XU Worldwide, and watch the video on the compensation plan. It's mind-blowing. We're going to break our own record. So know what you want, and it has to be written down. How many times has Donna shared with you that writing it down with emotion is like a catalyst. It's like a rocket ship. Thinking it is not enough. It must be inked. So write down your goals. What do you want? Why do you want it? And what are you willing to do to get it? And are you willing to commit to developing both personally and professionally? And the truth is, this can fulfill your dreams, but you have to understand that most of us have to go through some skill building, and it's typically a 2 to 4 year career. And that's for people that are part-time. If you're full-time, that's a whole other story. But there are 3 simple rules in life. If you do not go after what you want, you'll never have it. If you don't ask, the answer will always be no. And if you do not step forward, you'll always be in the same place. So think about it. Thanksgiving is next week. 2014 is closing. Reflect back on January, almost a year ago. What were your resolutions to accomplish this year? How much did you accomplish? And at the same time, what didn't you accomplish? So don't repeat history. Close this year very, very strong, because the effort that you put in between now and December 31st will set you up for next year. I know it's the holidays, and I preached this like crazy last year. And because I prepared in November and December, I had the best January in 12 years. Now remember, at Zango, you can shop from your own store. You can even drop ship packages. You can make the beautiful gift bags for stocking stuffers. It is all a business deduction. Think about that. You don't have to fight the malls. You just shop from your own store, write your list, what you're going to give everyone. And yesterday I sent out an email. There's all kinds of holiday specials that you can go find at Zango.com. So make sure you check into that. And of course, to always know about the events that we're having, xuevents.com. And if you are not yet a scholar at xuworldwide.com, I will tell you now, those of you who are grandfathered in at $15 a month will stay grandfathered forever. But I got to tell you, what we're launching at the end of next month and January 1 will blow you away. And the price is going up. We have to. I mean, we are so far over what we projected our budget to be, but all this technology we need. So we're doing phase 2 and phase 3 January 1. So make sure you and your team are grandfathered in at xuworldwide.com. These trainings with Brian Tracy and Sandi and Donna and Rick and Mark and Dr. Santry, and hopefully many, many more, you can go and review at xuworldwide.com/MMM, Mentoring with Millionaires. And I put there a link to a print shop, and I need to erase that because it's not quite ready. I will let you know when the business cards are ready. They are hot. There's 3 different cards that you can customize. The pricing is incredible. They are first class. And we've had such a problem with this customization that we wanted to do. And we probably shouldn't have gone crazy with all this customization, but I wanted it. So we're now paying the price because most people say they can do it. And then when it comes time to actually fulfill an order, it's all messed up. So we're hoping that we will have this completed and functional by the end of November. And if you need to email me for anything, Sandi@sandyanded.com or Sandi@xuworldwide.com to stay connected. And if you're not on my daily email list, please do join my daily email list. And with that, Donna, again, thank you so much. I can't believe we got this done literally in about 30 minutes, which is just incredible. So remember this quote from Ralph Waldo Emerson. And Brian talked about this. What you are shouts at you so loudly that I can't hear a word you're saying. So know what you want, know why you want it, know what you're willing to do to accomplish your goals so that you can live life as it should be. So I just want to thank everyone for being a part of our session tonight. And next month in December, I'll send out the email. We're actually going to do a double Brian Tracy lesson to finish up this series so that we can start the Success Mastery Academy, January 1. And again, Donna, thank you again so much. And with that, I wish everyone a blessed Thanksgiving and, of course, a wonderful holiday season. And much love to all of you as well, Rick. And with that, Donna, I'm going to say goodnight and get back into this seminar that I've been missing so far. Good night, everybody.
Thanks very much for the opportunity, Sandi. Good night, everybody. Happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you for making it happen, Donna, as always. Good night, everybody.